What up, class? This is your professor, Dr. Jace Austin, and this is week 11. Yes, week 11 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. Today, we will do a few course updates really quick, and then what we're going to do is we are going to discuss some business resources, and I am actually going to upload the worksheet link that I will be working from into Canvas. So if you wanted to do the same thing that you're about to see me do with a different company, then by all means, go for it. So let's see what we need to do to start out. Let's first look around in Canvas here and make sure that we are covering our bases. For one thing, by now you should have turned in your Wikipedia edit reports. If you have not done that, please go ahead and do it very, very fast. If you've been granted an extension, of course, this doesn't apply to you, but the Wikipedia edit was due on April the 7th. I am recording this on April the 8th. Keep on working on those semester-long projects, and the LibGuide assignment is coming due on April the 21st. I do also want you all to be aware of okay. It looks like we have questions, so let's go into our questions and see what's going on. Okay, if your topic has already been done in a different class, in a different course, like somebody did it previously, that's fine. In fact, you know what? If your topic is being done by someone else in the class, I am generally going to, please don't cheat, please don't work together. I do want this to be individual work. But if two people do the same topic, as long as their LibGuides aren't identical, that should be okay. So let's see here. Wanted to do the LibGuide on emergency preparedness. That may. Okay, so yeah, if you want to do something that you can tell has been done by a previous class, that is okay. Oh, good question. Okay, so let me clarify this. It says you have to supply the call number when the call number is available. So if the call number is not available for like a database or something like that, of course, then you don't have to worry about the call number. But then also, you can probably find the call number for whatever collection you're looking at. So like if you're looking at your public library and you found a resource that you want to include in your LibGuide, and it is on the Dewey Decimal System or whatever, because it's at the public library, it is perfectly fine to go ahead and use that. You do not have to limit yourself to materials within Mizzou's collection. Now, it may flow better if you make sure that all of your materials are available at one particular library, whether that's Mizzou, whether that's your local public, or whether that's some other library that you want to deal with. Like if you work at, for instance, a library that's not Mizzou's library, and maybe you work at, I don't know, maybe you work at UMSL or somewhere like that. It's okay. You are not going to be limited to Mizzou's collection. So let's see here. How should I answer this? I'm going to pause this. Okay, I am back and I am bad. And yeah, so I'm not really bad, but I did answer the question. Yeah, so other things here I think are no longer pertinent. Okay. The other thing that I did want to bring your attention to is that you will have this database assignment. You've actually got some time on this, but this is probably what you should be working on at the moment. So, and I see that some people have already done it. Eve and Alexis have already done it. But if you have not done this yet, trust me, you're not too late. Don't worry. Due April 26th. So you've got plenty of time, but just know that this is on the radar. If you do not see your name assigned to a database, then you need to let me know. Thank you, Rochelle, for letting me know that I had omitted some people accidentally. So Ellen, Elisa, and Kaylin, you do have assigned databases to you. They're not there. I apologize, but Rochelle picked up on that and she's got you all covered. So this is a way for you all to kind of learn from each other some basics about these different databases. And we are now going to play with some business databases. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to take a trip over to my former employer, which is Coastal Carolina University, near Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I'll be honest, I kind of miss living in that warm climate near the beach. Never knew how well I had it. Let's see, Coastal Carolina University. Why did I do that? Let's go to library.coastal.edu. That looks better. So, what we are going to do is I've already gotten permission to do this, just in case you all get a little worried, because worksheets and lesson plans are, in fact, intellectual property, so you're not supposed to just take them without permission, but in this case, I have permission to use it. So, research guides, we are going to go there, and then, by the way, if you haven't sped me up, you might want to, because I am going to be talking for a long time today. And I talk in my usual slow manner. So one thing I want you all to just kind of be aware of when it comes to business resources is that you're going to look at different business resources depending on what type of information you're looking for. Let me explain that now. We are going to go into their strategic management class here. And we are going to look at the cheat sheet. Now, we don't have the same databases that Coastal has, but the concept is the same. So with the business resources, what you are attempting to do is you will choose which database you're going to use based on what type of information you're trying to seek. So if you are looking for company information, then you are going to go to different places. If you were a Coastal student, you'd be going to Yahoo Finance and Merchant and things like that. And you would still be doing that at Mizzou because we do have Merchant, we do have Yahoo, so forth and so on. But if you're looking for instance, if you're looking for legal information, you're going to other places. If you were at Coastal, you go to Westlaw or Good Jobs First, to look for some legal information. If you're looking for industry information or market reports, then you might go to Business Source Complete, which we do have again here at Mizzou. S&P, I can't remember if we have that now. Business Insights, we have IBIS World actually at Mizzou, and IBIS World, in my opinion, can do most of what Business Insights does, and I believe it does it better. But we did not have IBIS World at Coastal. So that is that, and what we are going to do is we are actually going to fill out this little worksheet assignment that they have their students do at Coastal, so that you can see me fill out this worksheet. I'm going to fill out the worksheet with my company, and my company is going to be Rockwell Automation. And I am going to fill out the worksheet based on Rockwell Automation. Hold on 1 second so that I can get that worksheet. Okay, so like I said, you need to be very careful as far as remembering that if something's not an OER, an open educational resource, and you have not been granted permission to use it, any kind of learning material that's put out, any kind of lesson plan or something like that, that does fall under intellectual property. So you need to get some permission to use it. And in this case, this worksheet is the intellectual property of someone over at Coastal Carolina, but I have been granted the permission to use it. I have the emails to prove that. So having said that, let's make me small. Let's enable some editing here. And this is this document, and we are going to answer some of these questions. And like I said, I'm going to put this worksheet into Canvas, so if you want to do this on your own, you may. So the first thing we need to do is learn about Rockwell Automation, because I'm assuming you all have not heard of Rockwell Automation. And my goodness, I hope this sound works. Can I turn the sound on? All I can say is I hope the sound works now. So hopefully my computer mic will pick this up, because it's not letting me turn on the computer sound, which I've made silent. We'll see how this goes.
Here at Rockwell Automation's world headquarters, research has been proceeding to develop a line of automation products that establishes new standards for quality, technological leadership, and operating excellence. With customer success as our primary focus, work has been proceeding on the crudely conceived idea of an instrument that would not only provide inverse reactive current for use in unilateral phase detractors, but would also be capable of automatically synchronizing cardinal gram meters. Such an instrument, comprised of Dodge gears and bearings, Reliance electric motors, Allen Bradley controls, and all monitored by Rockwell software, is Rockwell Automation's retroencabulator. Now basically, the only new principle involved is that instead of power being generated by the relative motion of conductors and fluxes, it's produced by the modial interaction of magnetoreluctance and capacitive diractance. The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite, surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing, in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panametric fan. The lineup consisted simply of 6 hydrocoptic Marsal vanes, so fitted to the ambifacient lunar wane shaft that side fumbling was effectively prevented. The main winding was of the normal Lotus-O deltoid type, placed in panendermic semi-boloid slots of the stator. Every 7th conductor being connected by a non-reversible Tremi pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the gram meters. Moreover, whenever fluorescent score motion is required, it may also be employed in conjunction with a drawn reciprocation dingle arm to reduce sinusoidal depleneration. The retroencabulator has now reached a high level of development, and it's being successfully used in the operation of Milford trunnions.
Okay, so that is your retroencabulator there, and that is what the Rockwell Automation Company does or may do. I'll let you do your own background research on that. But now that we've gotten that going, so what we're going to do now is we are going to try to fill out this worksheet. There are going to be some pauses just so that I can clip some of this extra time. So bear with me with those pauses. And again, this is going to be a long one, so you may want to speed me up, but this is what we're going to do. So first thing we need to do is we need to fill out some things here. Our company is Rockwell Automation. So how can we find their ticker symbol? You can actually usually Google ticker symbols. They're not the most complicated thing to find. So we'll go ahead and just Google this. Rockwell Automation ticker symbol. And you will see that we do have a publicly traded company here. If you wanted to, you could follow them through Google. But we do have a ticker symbol that's right here for the New York Stock Exchange, and that is ROK. So we are going to copy and paste that. And I'm going to be moving myself around a lot too. So ROK, that is our ticker symbol. What the? Come on, man. They do have some formatting things going on here. Again, this is why I'm pausing. Let me pause. Okay, so sorry, that's how that's really supposed to look. ROK. Now, that is our ticker symbol. So we've got our company, Rockwell Automation. We've got that. We've got our ticker symbol, ROK. So let's see if we can find out what year our company was founded. And what source are we going to do for that? So, and again, this is why I'm not going to keep going back to the screen, but this is why I say once you know what type of information you're looking for, that is when you make the determination of which resource to use. So I'm looking for the year that the company was founded. And again, that can be Googled, but if you don't want to Google it, then we may have some other things that we can do. And so like I said, in this case, if we're looking for when the company was founded, we are looking for company information. So this is your cheat sheet. These are the places you might be able to go to find that information. I can just tell you right now that we are going to go to Mergent to find that. So let us, Mizzou Libraries, let's find out when this company became a thing. So we want Mergent Online. We are going to go to the M's and where are you? There you go. Mergent Online. Log me in, please. So we can come here and let me move this screen. This is going to be a lot of stuff coming at you guys, so I apologize. ROK, Rockwell Automation. As you can see here, we actually have two companies with that same ticker symbol. I don't know what Rocka Mines is, but I also don't know what, I'm not familiar with TDX, so I apologize. I can look that up later. But we're looking at the New York Stock Exchange here, and so Rockwell Automation has the ROK for the New York Stock Exchange. We can go ahead and click this. And the first thing that we are going to be brought to is kind of an overview page. And included in this overview page, we know who our key executives are and how much money they're making. Right now, the CEO of Rockwell Automation, Blake Moret, or maybe Murray, I'm not sure, 56 years old, $1 million, $65,385 salary. So making $1 million every single year. So you can find that, and you'll have all these other tabs that you may want to explore. We'll explore a few of them. But right now, what we are wanting to know is when our company was founded. So we have an incorporation date. Now, when it was incorporated and when it was founded, yes, can be two different things, because I can hear some of you shouting at me right now, hey, that's an incorporation date. That is not a founding date. Yes, you are correct. The company's webpage may have when they were actually founded, but we will, just for the sake of what have you, go for the incorporation date with this company right now. And sometimes you will see establishment dates, I believe, in Mergent, but we are going to go ahead with the incorporated date of 1928. And we are finding this through Merchant. Where are the company headquarters? Again, this is something that we can find in Merchant. So let's write that. Merchant. All right, so we need our headquarters, and our headquarters are going to be here under the address tab. So I'll just copy and paste that. They are headquartered currently in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That looks a little better. Let's put that there so we know that. What was the closing stock price and the beta from yesterday? And we actually might be looking at Friday because I am doing this on a Monday. But let's get that information. We can get this information from Yahoo Answers. Yahoo Answers, no. We can get it from Yahoo Finance. Sorry about that. So what we need to do is go to Yahoo Finance. That is finance.yahoo.com. Once we type this in, we'll be brought to this page right here. And we can go looking for our company information here. So we are at Yahoo Finance. I'm just going to put our ticker symbol back in, ROK, Rockwell Automation. And here is the page that I am being brought to from Yahoo Finance. Now again, what did that thing ask me for? First thing it asked me for was the closing stock price from yesterday. So that would actually be our previous close. Let me just come over here. So on April the 4th, which was the last weekday, we had a close of 184.99. And actually, I forgot I'm on Central Time because I'm so used to being on East Coast time. So this is already closed for today, and it closed at 186. But let's see what they're using in the summary. I'm going to go with that. The 185.34 is what we are going to go with, what they are listing as the previous close. So you do see a slight discrepancy here, but again, we can go with our previous close. So 185.34. Oh God. Okay, thank you. And let's take this to Yahoo Finance. And then we can also look for our beta. If we scroll down a little here, actually no. Where again is that beta? Hold on, pause. So the beta isn't right in front of my face, and I need to do this more often just so that I don't have all this rust. When I was at Coastal Carolina, I could whip this up in no time. But since then, I have had to learn a lot of things related to Mizzou. So we are in a different situation. But you've got a beta figure here in summary, and then I think also in statistics, we've got a beta. That 3Y monthly figure, or language, I'm not exactly sure what that is, just to be honest with you, and I have not seen that in some other companies. We can record our beta as 1.50 because that's what we're reflecting for this company. So let's go ahead and do that. 1.50. Yahoo Finance. Pause. So I took a moment to pause just to see, if that 3Y monthly language was still there with some other companies, and it is. I'm sorry, I don't remember it being there. My brain probably is just fried, but anyway, it's there now. So for Rockwell Automation, yes, the beta is at 1.5. That is what you would record. Now the next question is, what does a beta of less than 1 mean? And you know, if you have to find this in a book when dealing with a particular student who cannot just get it off the free web, that is fine. We are going to go ahead and just grab this off the free web since it's a definition and it's a standard definition. So what does a beta of less than 1 mean? And you can see that the beta for Rockwell Automation is 1.5, so it's greater than 1. But let's see what we can do here. What is a beta in what is a beta in finance? Sure. Investopedia. So what is a beta? A beta coefficient is a measure of volatility or systematic risk of an individual stock in comparison to the unsystematic risk of the entire market. So to put this in layman's terms, and that's what I am going to do, if you have a beta figure that is at 1, then what that means is that that company, their stock volatility is the same as that of the entire market. The entire market is listed at 1. And so if you have a company with a beta that is also listed at 1, then that means that their risk is the same as the market risk. The stock risk is the same as the volatility and risk is the same as what you would find in the entire market. And we'll scroll down a little further here. Let me just read verbatim what we've got. If a stock has a beta of 1, it indicates that the price activity is strongly correlated with the market. That's a better way to phrase that than I did. So a stock with a beta of 1 has systematic risk, but the beta calculation can't detect any unsystematic risk. Let's skip down. If the beta is less than 1, and this question is asking, what does a beta of less than 1 mean? And I'm not going to actually fill out the worksheet right there, but I could theoretically copy and paste. A beta of less than 1 means that the security is theoretically less volatile than the market. So that means that if you have a beta figure that is less than 1, then that is a stock that is less risky than the overall market. But if you have a beta that is greater than 1, and Rockwell Automation, we saw their beta was 1.5. If a beta is greater than 1, that indicates that the security's price is theoretically more volatile than the market. For example, if a stock's beta is 1.2, it is assumed to be 20% more volatile than the market. So with Rockwell Automation, we have something that is way, way more volatile than the market. And so you can learn a little bit more about that, but we're going to continue with this worksheet and trying to discover this information here. But read up on those betas. It may, and other definitions, it may come in handy on your job. So let's get back to our worksheet. All right, so what are the company's major products and or services? Again, this is something that we can go back to Mergent for, so we're going to do that. Missouri libraries. So we're doing a lot of jumping around, and like I said, this is going to be a long one. Speed me up. But I want you all to just see the process of everything that I'm having to do to find this information. Okay, ROK, Rockwell Automation. And the way that we can find our products and services would actually be there are several ways to find it. We can find it in the business summary, and then we can also look for industries up here. So their sector is electrical equipment, so they make electrical equipment. Industry, measuring and controlling devices, and other measuring and controlling device manufacturing. So they are manufacturers of controlling devices and measuring devices. That isn't as straightforward as some of these other companies that you're going to run into. For instance, if we were doing Revlon, which is the company that I do a lot of times for filling out this worksheet, a lot of people know Revlon, they're into cosmetics and things like that. But with this more obscure company, that may not be quite as apparent. And who knows what a controlling device is. So you may have to come back down here. It may be in your business summary. And in this case, our business summary is also kind of obscure. I'm not going to read this. You can kind of read it yourself if you want to on your own time. I'm just going to tell you right now that basically what Rockwell Automation does is they make these they make hardware, software, and different things that can do quality control for things like amusement park rides. I think that's one of the things they do. So the software that they develop in these controlling devices, these are the things that prevent some of the, I don't want to say safety issues, but it prevents some things from going wrong with things like amusement park equipment and some other things that they are into doing. And I just know that because I knew that already. But you wouldn't be able to find that here. So as far as answering this question, in a pinch, what you can, yes, do is you can do your industry, other measuring and control device manufacturing, and, well, nope. Let's get this there. And let's do our source again is Merchant Online. Which company insider owns the most direct shares and how many shares does he or she own? So what we need to do there is, since we're dealing with ownership of shares, I think, yeah, so which company insider owns the most direct shares? How many shares does he or she own? Let's so we'll go into ownership to try to find that information. So we've got an ownership tab here. Scroll down, and right now we've got like institutional holdings. I think that's the default under this tab, but we can go to insiders here. And this has been updated. This did not used to look like this even last year. I did not have this fancy pants graph, I don't think, or table or whatever that pie chart. Thank you, pie chart, not graph, not table, chart. So who owns, is it, yeah. Which company insider owns the most direct shares and how many? So this is sorted by number of direct shares, and we see that Sean Sujit, I hope I'm saying that correctly, owns 41,200 shares. So this is the person who owns the most, and that's how much they own. So let's grab this, copy and paste it. Chand Sujit owns 41,200. Our source again is Merchant. Which institutional shareholder owns the most direct shares and how many do they own? So we can go back to institutional holdings, and we see that pension fund DSM of the Netherlands, and I don't know exactly who or what they are, but they are the ones who own the most. We're going to grab them and copy and paste them in. Pension fund, copy. paste. And they own 14,200 shares. And again, our source is Emergent. Okay, now you can find 10Ks actually on the free web. I think it's the SEC, if I'm not mistaken. But in this case, you can also find them in Emergent. So if you ever need that 10K, then you can come to reports. And again, these can also be Googled, but whatever. So our reports and our annual reports. So this is a 10K or international equivalent. You can click there, you'll be brought to a new window, and you have a very long 97-page document, and this is the 10K. So we found our 10K. And what is it? Again, what is it? Let's just go ahead and Google that. We'll come over here. I've already Googled it while I was in pause. So what is a 10K? Investopedia, when we're talking about free web sources, Investopedia is not that bad. So I know it sounds like Wikipedia and everything, but I have not gone wrong with Investopedia. I don't think it's that same freely edited type of source that Wikipedia is. And as you can see, we've got the name of a reviewer here. So what is your 10K report? Again, I'm not going to copy and paste this, but if I did want to, then I could probably copy and paste my definition from here. So a 10K is a comprehensive report filed annually by a publicly traded company about its financial performance, and it is required by the SEC. The report contains much more detail than a company's annual report, which is sent to its shareholders. But the 10K is public record, so anyone can access the 10K report of a publicly traded company. Now, it is my belief that privately traded companies do not have to do 10Ks, and I've never found one. So if you are, well, I shouldn't even, so yeah, having said that, if I'm wrong about that, someone please correct me, but I believe that 10Ks are only mandatory for the publicly traded companies. Item 7 of a 10K. So 10Ks are pretty standard. So if you are looking at the item 7 of the Rockwell Automation 10K, it should be the same thing as the item number 7 in any other 10K that you're seeing. So we can go back into this 10K, click item number 7 here, and item number 7 is management's discussion and analysis of financial condition and results of operation. So we can copy and paste that. I do think that the verbiage can be a little different from company to company, but that little piece there should be pretty much the same regardless. So, what? Okay. Get rid of that. Skim the item 7 section. How do you think this section will be used in your research? I'm actually not going to answer that right now in the interest of time. We might be going over an hour, folks, and I apologize if that happens. But you can skim an item 7 in a 10K, and you can make that determination yourself. Now, what are the company's operating or business segments? There may be only one. There are 2 with Rockwell Automation, and you will find that really what you, I know this sounds simplistic and basic, but what you can do is you can just Control F. Let me move myself here. Control F for segment. And let's see if I can, both segments. There are two segments. There we go. So I was having, something was going wrong there at first. So we're at the top of the 10K document here. And then once you do a Control F for the word segment, you can usually find the segments in the 10K, but they may also be in other places in Mergent. So we have two operating segments, architecture and software, and control products and solutions. So we'll just copy and paste those. Bada bing. Okay. And we found this on the 10K. It would be on the 10K if you found it from SCC as well. Whether you found it, whether you get your 10K in Mergent or from the SCC website, that doesn't matter. They should both be accurate, but you have these two 10Ks. I mean, you have the 10Ks, and that's what you would use in order to identify your two segments. So our segments here are architecture and software and control products and solutions for Rockwell Automation. Find the sales and profit figures for one of the segments for the most recent fiscal year. Hint, check the 10K and or Mergent online. So really what you can do here is you can kind of stay on that Control F, and it may take a while, but we'll find them. Boom, boom, boom. Let me pause just so I'm not taking all this time. Okay, so like I said, I paused, and you know, you didn't need to see me hit Control F 13 or 14 times until I got here. Just know that that's what I did. So I got to this area of the 10K here, and so for segment operating earnings, we have our two segments here, and they are separated and drawn out. So let's see if we can get some total sales and profits here. Clearly, I need to do this more often. I am very rusty. I can't believe how rusty I've gotten in just a few months' time, but I used to do this so much at Coastal. Let's do the, you know what, let's do architecture and software here. All right, that was a mess. Okay, architecture and software. Sales. So when we're looking at sales, we've got that here for this particular segment, and this is in the millions. So their sales weren't just $3,000. It was, you know, you put that, you had I guess this is 3 billion, I would assume. Math has never been my strong point, but if you have 3,000 million, then I think that's 3 billion. I think I'm right. My brain is fried, y'all. I'm sorry. Today is just not my best day. We're gonna put the sales revenue there. Make sure you put that M behind it. And your source again is Mergent. And then for profits, and again, this is something I had to kind of look up here. So you can find slightly different verbiage again in these different 10K reports. And so my understanding is that profits in earnings are synonyms. They're not exactly the same, but they are synonyms. In this case, however, we are going to go to segment operating earnings for architecture and software, and we are going to use this figure as our profits figure because I did not see an actual profits figure for that particular segment. So our profits are going to be $901 million. Okay. What industries? We've already kind of done this earlier. So again, this may be, and you can go to a company website to actually find out their major products and services as well. But we are going to do this for the industries. Now, I will say that this will be a little less murky with some better known companies. So like with Revlon, you would have like what products and services do they do, things like makeup and that sort of thing. But then when you are looking up their industries, that's when you would say Revlon, they have a NAICS code for cosmetics. So you would probably put like makeup and some different things as the answer to number 5. But as far as number 13, then you would put whatever the NAICS code thing is. So in this case, other measuring and controlling device manufacturing. Okay. Find an industry report in Business Source Complete or Business Insights Global and an industry survey in Standards & Poor's Net Advantage. Which industry report is a better fit for your company's industry and why? Now, this is purely subjective, so I'm not actually going to answer the question. However, what we are going to do, rather than answer this actual question, is we are going to go just find an industry report. And sometimes, wrong library. You all do know that I work at UMKC as well. Sorry about that. So, the way to do this, now, Coastal has Business Source Complete. We actually have Business Source Premier. And it does not have quite all the features of Business Source Complete, but it has most of them. So we're going to find an industry report in Business Source Premier. So what we'll do, we'll go to databases again. We'll hit the B, scroll that bad boy down. So there's Business Source Premier, right? And you just kind of have to work with what the database gives you, unfortunately. So what we can do, we've got a company. Let's see. So let's see if company entity works here. Rockwell Automation, search. And if it doesn't, then we can switch this back to a keyword. But it looks like, well, we've got 1,500 results, so we've got something going on. So what we want to do from here, so we've got a lot of SWOT analyses and things like that coming at us. We can go to source types here. You can go to industry profiles. Yeah. Okay. 2014. Let's see if we can get a little newer. Ew. Nope. So 2014's as new as we're going to get. But again, the Rockwell Automation is within the control systems industry. NAICS codes are very important, by the way. So you're going to be doing a lot of searching. When you're doing industry information type of research, you are going to want to know your NAICS codes, and you'll be searching those. Unfortunately, in the interest of time, we can't really do a lot of exploration on that, but we'll come back to that. I shouldn't say we'll come back to that. We're not coming back to that this class. But if you take the Business Information Sources class, then you're going to see a lot more work with NAICS codes and that sort of thing. This is just an overview. And there's so much to know that even these overview lectures are going to be over an hour. But, you know, this is just how the cookie crumbles. All right. So we have an industry profile here that's 5 years old. There's probably something newer, maybe in IBIS world, but, you know, let's just get through the worksheet for right now. And what you can do, well, we see Rockwell Automation here, but again, you can use your Control F tool and, sorry, let me bring this up. So you can use that tool and then you'll be able to skip to wherever Rockwell Automation is listed in this industry report, okay? So there it is. So that's how you can find an industry report in Business Source Premier. Business Source Complete will work the same way if you end up with a library that has that. For right now, we're just gonna skip. Two major industry trends. So this is tricky. Okay, so like I said, trends can be tricky. Actually, trends a lot of times are just not as explicitly stated as we would need them to be for it to be practical for me to kind of show you how to look for trends. You can find trends in industry profiles. You can find them in SWOT analyses for certain companies, but you're not just going to see trends a lot of times just explicitly stated. You kind of have to read into the documents and see what they're saying the industry is going through, and you can discern the trends from there. So having said that, we are going to also skip this for right now. Again, this is something that can be revisited later. We do need to know our NAICS codes, and again, can get those in Business Source Complete. Let's go back. What am I doing here? Okay. Let me go, okay, Rockwell Automation Company, entity, and I think I can get my, whoa, how wrong I am. Thought I could just go ahead and get my NAICS code there in the SWOT analysis. I am so rusty, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. But we can get our NAICS codes from our industry profiles as well. I would say that what you probably want to do is, in many cases, you can go for your, there's going to be more than one NAICS code, but generally I like to, a lot of times the first one that's listed is going to be more of your primary NAICS code. So other electronic component manufacturing is how they are listed for their NAICS code. So we'll slide that in there. And so now what we need to do is we need to go back to Mergent. And grab those competitors. Okay. Aren't you all just having the most fun? I'm so sorry this is taking so long. But our students actually would have an hour and a half to 2 hours at Coastal to play around with this and try to fill out the worksheets, and they would be doing it in groups. So just to let you know, this is not something that was designed to be completed very quickly. Mergent. Under the M's. Right. Let's get some make code stuff going here. Primary NAICS. Got it. And so we've got 336 companies showing up under this NAICS code. So this turns out not to be a great way to get to this information quickly. So let's go back. The search process is complicated. So I know some of y'all are saying, oh, it keeps making mistakes and going back. It's going to happen to y'all on the job too. I hope y'all realize that. So might as well watch me do it, because it's going to happen to you too. Okay. So when we are in the Rockwell automation page here, what we can do then is go to competitors. Again, we probably could have looked at that in the NAICS codes as well. And you can also see their different NAICS codes being used here. So this is another reason why things get a little tricky with your business sources. What we want to do if we are going to be looking at the closest competitors, it defaults in the revenues, and I am going to keep it there for the sake of simplicity. So we'll see who has the closest revenues to Rockwell. And these numbers may not be the same numbers that you see in the 10K, you know, just kind of deal with it. Things are constantly changing. But as you can see, these top three are blowing Rockwell automation kind of out of the water. So the closest competitors, revenues-wise, are going to actually be these guys that are under them. So let's go ahead and plug those guys in. Agilent Technologies, I guess, is what that's saying. No. Here. Thank you. Okay, number 2. Be who's ever under that. So that's these guys. Number 3 is going to be Hubble. Bada bing. Okay, number 4 for our closest competitors is going to be Trimble. So we'll copy and paste them in. And then number 5, these guys. Okay, so those are our 5 closest competitors, which is what we're being asked for here. Again, our source is Mergent, and we plugged all those guys in. And now we want to find these ratio numbers for Mergent and for our closest competitor, which is, as we just saw, Agilent Technologies. We'll just call them Agilent Tech for now. Rockwell. All right, so we've got to get these ratio numbers, and we are going to get them. We're back in Mergent for them, by the way. So it's actually under the Company Financials tab. You will see ratios here. And the good thing about Mergent is it will explain what the different ratios mean if you kind of hover over these question marks here. So annualized net income expressed as a percentage of average total assets indicates how effectively assets are being used to produce profit. So you'll get these sorts of numbers here. And again, you can go to Investopedia, or another good one is Quick MBA, and get a little bit more information about these different things that you're seeing here, so that you know what you're looking at when you're supplying students with it. So let's grab all of these for Rockwell first. Current ratio, and you just have to use the latest thing available to you. So current ratio, we have in September 1.27. Holy crud. Okay, 1.27. Quick ratio, 0.94. Inventory turnover, 6.65. Interest coverage, 2653. You see that here. Total debt to equity, 1.1. Return on investment, it's back up here, 3264. Return on assets, 7.98. And then we'll grab this again for our competitor. So we'll go back up to competitors here. We'll click Allegiant Technologies. We'll get back into company financials, ratios. And in the interest of time, I'm not going to plug all those in, but again, they are all there. So I would complete the same chart with, I would complete this column here with the numbers from Agilent, but I would look in the same categories that I did when I was looking at Rockwell. Okay. All right. Now, Mizzou does not have access to Business Insights Global or Business Insights Essentials. So as far as market share reports, we are going to need to skip that. And so we really, because we're going to skip number 21 as well, this locate this full text. You all already are familiar with that. So number 20 is going to be the last one that we do here. And let's see. Number 20 is asking for what now? Financial strength rating. Okay, I like to find that from Value Line. Let's see if we have Value Line here. We had it at Coastal. I don't know if we've got it here. Ew, it does not look like it. Okay, it's really easy to find in Value Line, but we're going to have to use Yahoo Finance. Let me post. Sorry, I'm starting to get a little fatigued. It takes more than just the hour that you see as recording time for me to actually record. So I am about to take the easy way out, and y'all may not like me for this, but when it comes to, we're going to go to Value Line, and we're going to do it through the public library. Most public libraries, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of public libraries have Value Lines, so we are going to just do that. I was trying to stick to Mizzou, but now I want to get something for dinner. Mid-Continent Public Library. I'm sure they have it because they're such a robust public library. Yeah. Oh, it's only in library use. Oh, God. Okay. It's always one brick wall or another. So there's another mulligan. Hold on. All right, y'all. For those last three, I guess I'm sorry. This is a learning process for me as well. We are going to 19, 20, and 21. I'm just going to omit those. I've talked enough anyway. But I will say that for those of you who have access to Value Line through a public library, and apparently you have to use Value Line in person with Mid-Continent, you have to do it in the library. But you would see that very prominently. Let me just tell you that. So in Value Line, if you are looking for a financial strength rating, you're going to see it very prominently displayed, I think, in the upper right-hand corner of a company profile. Okay. So you would find it through Value Line Investment Survey. And yeah, that's the best way to find it. I could not find what my equivalent would be in Yahoo Finance. I just spent about 20 minutes trying to find that out on pause. I didn't like what I was looking at, and I would want to confer with some business librarians before throwing that out there. I will say, though, that there is this is what I found, were environmental, social, and governance ratings, and you can see what those are by hovering over this question mark here. But just to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at here, so I'm not going to say that this is the same as a recommendation rating. I would hazard to say that, but you can find some similar type of information, at least as far as ratings, under the sustainability tab for your company in Yahoo Finance. So let's just leave it at that. This has been a very, very long video, so I hope that you did speed it up like I recommended several times. And if you didn't, I'm sorry about your hour plus that you just spent looking at this, if you looked at it. But having said that, this is what we've got going on. Again, I'm going to upload that worksheet into Canvas as well. So if you want to try to do this kind of discovery with your own company, please feel free to do so. Okay, so I'm going to end it right here. It needs to be ended. Let's go ahead and pause it. Let me say goodbye. I am going to be in Cleveland for ACRL this week, so I may be a little slower returning emails, so I apologize for that. But you all have a good day. Thank you so much for being great students, and I will holler at you next week. Peace.